their guests. The views and opinions expressed therein do not necessarily reflect those of News Web Radio Company or its management.
Hey guys, thanks again for joining us on Life, Love, and the Grind. If you look right next to me here, if you're watching on the studio feed, my handsome partner Sean Allen's back. Sean, where were you?
Well, I've been in a pandemic, and I've been in quarantine lockdown for about 4 weeks, going on 5. It's good to be back, though. It's good to be sitting next to each other again.
And a 6 feet,
at a safe
that way,
distance.
Sean.
At a safe distance.
So it is nice to have Sean back, because I'll tell you this, trying to do it solo or with my wife, when in a quarantine situation, when you're stuck with a wife and family all the time, you want to see other people. So Sarah, love you, but thanks for sitting this one out. Sean, good to have you back. We have a very interesting show this time. We're going to talk about some of the challenges that small businesses are dealing with regarding conducting business as usual with a situation like this, stay-at-home orders. So we have Brian Shamhart, who is going to be talking with us. He owns a little company out in, tell us about it. Brian, tell us what you do and where you are.
Sure. Yeah. Me and a partner, Melody, we own a small company. We're located in Forest Park. It's kind of a vintage resale boutique shop. We deal in used items, basically. A lot of art, small furniture, a lot of interior design type pieces. And, I think for both of us, it's a passion that, not something we had to do, but certainly that we wanted to do and love doing. And we were both fortunate enough to have working spouses that kind of enabled us to go out and pursue the dream. And we've been at it for a number of years as partners together and been very successful and have a lot of fun at it.
But then things changed about 4 weeks ago.
That's right. And they changed rapidly. And so we certainly are a brick and mortar business that rely on walk-in clients, because everything we sell, the majority of it in the past, we do sell it out of the storefront. We have a lot of repeat customers that come in and are always looking for new pieces for various purposes. And having to shut down as rapidly as we did, I think we are fortunate enough that my partner has pursued the social media path all along, even though we've always went that route a little bit, certainly not the levers we were pulling to the extent we are now, in terms of now we are using online resources both to primarily get the word out of new pieces that we're bringing in, and actually continue to do business online through a variety of different venues, such as...
Well, I got to tell you this, social media has kind of saved us and allowed us to continue to be social in this new dynamic. You've seen Zoom and Zoom technologies take off. You've seen, like yourself, you were brick and mortar, you had people coming in. Essentially, it's social media. It's this online forum that's in a way saving and enabling you to continue to do business. Is that correct?
It is, no question. But at the same time, I feel sorry for a lot, because I think what it's also done, it's aggressively accelerated the adoption of online. So I think a lot of people who in the past didn't use Amazon or didn't want to shop on Chewy, or now that they've kind of been forced to, and they do see the ease of using those platforms, I think it's going to make it a lot harder for some of the struggling large retailers that were kind of on the brink of going under anyway. I think it's really going to accelerate that, because I think even though people like to support local, they also like convenience. And when Amazon's dropping things off at your door, I mean, we're fortunate in that sense. I think that what we sell isn't something that is a commodity that you can go get at any store. So I think there'll always be kind of a brick and mortar demand or presence, because people want to come in, see it in person. So that kind of provides us a benefit. But yeah, I think overall, it's going to make it harder for a lot of brick and mortar to continue to.
Well, just in general, right? I mean, this big business mentality is kind of sweeping the whole world, right? I mean, Amazon's coming in and making record profits, and it is kind of hard. How do you compete with, like you say, this, you order off Amazon, 24 hours later, boom, it's right at your door. I mean, I think as a society and as a, even like as a city in Chicagoland area, I think it is important to support local business, support our local community. And I think I hope to see when this is all over that we get back to that strong kind of community, mentality where we all want to go out and shop and buy local and support local, because at the end of the day, you're our neighbors, you're our businesses, you're kind of the thriving,
Right, the mom and pop shops that the community knows about, that are staples in the community. These are the operations you want to see continuing.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have regulars. You have a very a niche kind of market in what you do. I'm sure you have very similar customers, if not the same ones, who come in, day out until this pandemic hits. And maybe they are the ones who follow you on social media. Maybe they're not. What do? How do you reach out to them and keep them engaged? Let them know. Is there a method to that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, other than, as far as outreach from us to them, other than Facebook, Instagram, and we're posting there constantly. But I think it is just going to be a matter of, one, kind of having that established clientele, that, because we've had a number of customers reach out to us and ask how we're doing and see if they can help us in any way, and see if we have by appointment hours where they could come in, those type of things. And I think for the most part, a lot of businesses that the communities will come back, especially restaurant, bars, those type of things. But again, I think it's some of those brick and mortar retailers that are selling the more homogeneous commodity type products, that's where it's going to be much harder to see a rebound. I mean, I think we're not concerned as much, again, because the things we're selling aren't things you can go out and buy anywhere. And I think that kind of provides us an advantage.
Yeah. Well, just real quick, just to say, any of our listeners or viewers out there, if they do want to call in, if they have any questions, you can call in at 773-763-9278 if you do have any questions for Brian or myself and Raza.
Right. And we also want to get into, because you were talking about the niche nature of your business, we have a second guest who will be joining us as well. And that is Missy, who's with Twisted Wares, which is actually a distributor for various types of commodities, products. But she's been doing a lot of direct sales because, again, brick and mortars are struggling they can't. They literally cannot have people coming in. So she's doing something which I think is very interesting as well, which is letting people buy online her products, but then name what exactly or where exactly you would shop to get it, and then cutting them a check. So it's a way that we see people kind of working together collaboratively in order to help each other out, which I think is, again, like what you were saying with the mom and pop shops, we find ways to make community work.
Yeah, I think it's important. I mean, I'm myself and Raza are big union guys. We always promote supporting American, buy local. The big Walmart chains that kind of would come in and wipe out all these local businesses and drive prices down and then jack them back up, and everyone's out of business. I think the beauty with what we can do as a society and as a community is we make sure we support all of our local businesses, our small businesses. So where do you see us going forward after this pandemic? Do you think this is going to change the culture of small business? Do you think people are going to maybe stay away from trying to get the storefronts, the brick and mortar, or do you think everything's going to be moving to try to go online?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think it's definitely accelerated the rate of online shopping adoption that was going to happen anyway over the next 5 and 10 years. But now I think it's just sped that up. But at the same time, I think I try not to be a prognosticator, because after 9/11, I thought, who on earth would get on an airplane? But the airline industry rebounded quite rapidly. So, I mean, I think it's going to be interesting, but I really have no idea what to expect. And other than hoping that certainly a lot of these community-based small businesses are able to stay in business and rebound from it, which I think for the most part they will.
Well, these are definitely unprecedented times, that's for sure. I mean, and they've hit every single walk of life. I mean, myself and Raza were essential workers. I'm in the construction industry. To all of our construction workers and everyone on the front lines that are going out there, we give them nothing but respect. And to all of our small businesses, I think just hang in there. Because we're all going to get through it.
And we need to remind everyone, as everyone has, that you can still support these small businesses. If you're a restaurant, they're still delivering. My wife and I, just to get out of the house, just to get away from the kids for a little while, they joined us, went out to the local, a pizza joint that we went to. Went in there, placed an order as we were walking, got our food, and left. But again, this money means something to those business owners who are trying to keep food on their table when a situation like this is happening. We've also been advised to buy gift certificates, because again, this, when things get better, will help fund the economy.
Sure.
Do you offer any gift certificates, or do you have any incentives where people can look to the future and better support your business while you're dealing with this circumstance?
Yeah, we do. And I think also, although we're not heavily involved, I think the Forest Park Chamber of Commerce is really doing a good job at pushing a lot of initiatives out there along those lines, where they're having daily drawings for local establishment gift certificates, and they're getting, I think, a good support in that manner. I think as well, what we've been able to do on the social media side is make it much more convenient for people to shop from their phone or from their computer by just pushing items out that we buy, putting them out there on Instagram or Facebook Marketplace, where people can see multiple pictures. They can contact us with questions about size, condition, etc., and they're basically shopping from home. And we've had a lot of success at that, which is.
I got to ask you this. So we've talked about, and it's pretty intuitive, that customer based. There's a lot of changes, but what about from the supplier side? Have you, as a small business, had difficulties trying to get the supplies in, trying to get the products that you sell in?
Yeah, and that's certainly an interesting question, because we're a unique business in that sense that it's as much of a hustle for us to buy things as it is to sell things, because we have to buy these pieces one piece at a time. So we're going to garage sales, estate sales, flea markets, which all that stuff is shut down currently.
They don't do any of that anymore.
Exactly.
So what do you do?
But the one thing that's replaced it, and I think it kind of goes along with people being stuck at home, is that lots of people are getting to these projects that they haven't had time to in the past. So they're cleaning out areas, just like spring cleaning when the weather gets nice. And so they're putting things on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. So that's where we're constantly scouring those media places to try to find product to stock our shop with. So it's changed the way we both, get our supply as well as how we sell.
So you're able to stay in business because of this. My wife and I had this conversation. If this pandemic, God forbid, there's no good time to hit, but had it happened in the 80s, it just completely, without the technology, would have changed the way we've been able to do any of this, from filing for unemployment, which now we can do on the computer system, to just being able to put suppliers and connect suppliers and distributors to connect them. It's just, at least now the technology exists. Like Sean and I, we FaceTime on occasion.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows when I would have seen you had this happen?
I mean, even 10, 15 years ago. Yeah. I mean, right? Social media and all this is really, even Facebook. What was Facebook when it came out?
I'm telling you,
everything's changed, so rapidly.
Absolutely. Brian, Missy, both of our guests, we were able to reach out to on social media, seeing the work that you do that way. And it's just completely changed what it is we do and how we do it.
Is there a way that people that are looking to, maybe instead of going to a marketplace or going to Letgo or any of these other places, is there a way that they can contact you guys to say, hey, I have these type of products?
Yeah, and we actually also do advertise in that sense, letting people know, because we do conduct estate sales when that's able to happen, which it's not right now, because one, we're just in a time in our society where you've got lots of baby boomers downsizing, passing away, moving. And so there's lots of goods out there. And so we're constantly advertising to let them know to contact Studio 8 if they have things to get rid of. And so, that's, again, another way that we kind of resupply our inventory constantly, because it's a big part of our business that we have to be buying as much as we're selling.
Yeah. What's morale like with you and your partner? Let's give your partner a shout out as well. That's Melody, who put me in touch with you. What is morale like, waiting to see when the state's going to open, but just like the rest of us, not knowing what's going on? I'm sure you keep in touch, like you were saying, with the Chamber of Commerce, with other business owners. What are you guys saying to each other? Like, how do you keep yourself kind of inspired or prepared for what challenges you might face?
Well, I think I probably do better in a much more unstructured environment. So to me, I don't really mind the quarantine. It just allows me, every day's a new day to get out there and hustle, and I figure it out every morning. Whereas Melody, she's kind of the master of the social media and much more structured in terms of making sure she's out there posting every day, staying in touch with our customers. But I think we both have strengths that offset each other. And so we tend to keep each other in a pretty good mood, I think. And, it's
That's important.
Successful.
It's important to keep morale. I mean, these are definitely trying times, unprecedented times, like I said before. I mean, it's definitely, you have to stay positive and motivated because it's...
It's funny. I once got advice from a guy who had been married for, I think, 20 years. And I was having some, difficult circumstances. So I asked him, I said, what's the secret? And he said, just don't get down at the same time. Support each other. When one of you is down, make sure the other one kind of boost that person up. And I'm thinking, does that play in the business environment as well when you have a business partner and you guys are trying to see the end game, the end road, what's down the road in a challenging situation like this?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm overall an optimistic person, and at the same time, like I said, we're both fortunate enough to have working spouses that we're not the sole breadwinners, so we're freaking out every day when we're not making sales. But yeah, and I'm in multiple partnerships and have been throughout my life, and they're hard. They're just other human relationships that go through the ups and downs like any friendship. And
I wouldn't know anything about that. Sean and I see eye 100% of the time.
Yeah, I mean, partnerships are definitely they are trying, but it is like you said, you have to have that balance of like, if I'm down and you need to have that partner to be like, hey man, let's keep going.
Don't worry, I'll do the show on my honeymoon to feel better. But then again, that's what it is. It's that give and take, and you're absolutely right. Partnerships are very trying endeavors, and in a situation like this with a lot of uncertainty, I think it can really strengthen that environment you have, and God willing, we'll all kind of get through this together stronger as a community, a business community, with mom and pop shops getting through and doing the work they need to do.
Yeah, and it is devastating to be in such a booming economy. And then and it's not like 2008 where everything just kind of collapsed. It's legitimately everyone saying, okay, let's just push pause on everything we do day to day. Let's just stop doing everything that we're used to doing and just stay home and just be cool with it. I mean, it's emotionally taxing. It's mentally draining. I mean, it's, financially hurting to a lot of people. But at the same time, we still have a lot of essential workers that are working, and they should be supporting local businesses as much as you can.
Absolutely. We talk a lot about the essential workers who are out there doing the work to keep society running. But then behind every essential worker is also the small business owner struggling and grinding to keep their livelihoods still afloat in this pandemic we're dealing with. And that's why it was so important, Brian, to speak with you. And after our break, which is coming up here, we'll be talking to Missy as well with Twisted Wares, who's not only providing her online business, but again, supporting the mom and pop brick and mortar and helping them in a way that I'll let her explain because I don't want to do any disservice. So we'll get to Missy in a little bit right after our break. Again, thank you for joining us on Life, Love, and the Grind with Raza Siddiqui, Sean Allen.
Well, and stay tuned because we will have Brian Shamhart back. And during the commercial break, go to Studio 8 in Forest Park. You can check them out on Facebook, Instagram, and give it a look.
And listen to some of these other people that you should be supporting as well.
This is Louis Kyer from GWC Injury Lawyers. Now that cannabis is legal in Illinois, an understanding of the law and the risks associated with ingesting cannabis is critically important. Under the Cannabis Act, you can legally ingest marijuana only in a very limited number of places. Not in public, not on government or school premises, and not even in your own condo or apartment if your landlord has a no smoking policy. A positive test is potentially lethal to your rights in 3 key areas: employment, work injuries, and driving. So if your employer has a zero tolerance drug and alcohol policy, you can be terminated if you fail a drug test, even though your cannabis consumption was legal. If you're hurt on the job and test positive for cannabis, the legal presumption is that your accident was caused in part because of the cannabis, and your workers' compensation rights can be totally denied. DUI laws have not changed. Impaired means impaired, and a DUI due to cannabis or alcohol can ruin your career. If you want to indulge in legal THC before you ingest, read up on your rights at gwclaw.com.
Megan Financial is an independent retirement and financial services firm dedicated to the working men and women of organized labor. Megan provides straightforward, custom-fit financial advice and specializes in defined benefit and defined contribution pension plans, as well as participant and retiree health and welfare benefits. Megan Financial has the knowledge and experience to navigate the union member through all phases of life. Call 708-444-1090.
Securities and advisory services offered through Cetera Advisors LLC, member FINRA, SIPC, a broker-dealer and registered investment advisor. Cetera is under separate ownership from any other named entity. Office location at 5321 South 94th Avenue, Orland Park, Illinois, 60462.
Life, Love, and the Grind is proudly sponsored by Rich Lewandowski and our friends at Breaker Press, Chicagoland's top choice for union printing. We're a third-generation family-owned business that has been helping unions and political campaigns win since 1976. We've been involved in hundreds of winning elections, and we get our printed materials to you on time and on budget every time. Whether you're running for the courthouse or the White House, we will take you from concept to design and from print to mail or your supporters' front yards. Breaker Press can help you reach the voters you need. Call Rich at 773-852-5733 or email rich@breakerpress.com. For all of your political printing needs, visit us at breakerpress.com.
All right, if you're just tuning in, you got Sean and Raza, Life, Love, and the Grind. We just heard from Brian Shamhart with Studio 8 in Forest Park, a small business that today's a day about small businesses.
Well, it absolutely is. It's about supporting our neighbors, because that's what small businesses are. They're the neighbors, they're the fixtures in our community. And it's absolutely about going out there and seeing, in a crisis like this, in a pandemic that we've never dealt with before, how to find the best within us and how to go out there and support those who have always been there for our community.
And instead of maybe running to Amazon or all these other, multi-billion-dollar, companies, corporations, give
spread some of that stimulus money in your community.
Yeah.
Let it benefit our schools, let it benefit our roads directly at home, but more importantly, let it benefit our neighbors and remind them that we stand with them, we support them, and we support their families.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, we just heard from Brian Shamhart, Studio 8 in Forest Park, Facebook, Instagram, check it out. And now we have
Missy with Twisted Wares, who I'm very excited to speak with. Again, because there's an initiative she's doing. But prior to that, Missy, you sell yourself. You tell your story, because when I talked to you, I realized I can just kick it. You can tell your own story. Missy, what you all about?
Well, thanks for coming on, Missy.
Yeah, absolutely. So, oh my God. So, my company started out of the 2008 recession.
Wow.
So I don't know, a lot of people don't know that, but it is on our story on our website, twistedwares.com. But yeah, my husband and I were both in the real estate market at that time. And then when the recession hit, both people being in real estate was not a good idea. So we ended up losing absolutely everything. Our house, cars it was just absolutely horrible. Ended up moving in with my parents. That was great. And then we also I got pregnant during that time with our third baby. So it just could not, it was so stressful. I could not even explain. So it took 18 months before my husband got a job, and that's what ended up taking us to Texas. And it was out of that I was like, I want to do something completely different. Don't want to go back into real estate. And I ended up coming up with an idea. Every time my youngest at that point, we started walking, every time he came in the kitchen, he would pull the towel off of the oven handle. And it just drove me nuts, because I don't want to do more laundry. And I just kept thinking, why can't a towel stay put? The towel that I use for the dishes, why won't it just stay put? And I thought there's got to be a way. So I came up with a loop. We call it the hang tight towel loop. That loop is sewn onto all of our towels, and it will keep your towel.
I'm going to tell you, I hate to interrupt, but I got to tell you, you may have just saved my marriage, because my wife tells me so many times, stop using one paper towel, tossing it any which way. Usually it's at the kids because, they're kids, and during a quarantine, you can't control them, and just use a towel. So, I mean, with that, I'm sure patented towel mechanism you have. What is this mechanism called again? Tell us about this mechanism.
We call it the hang tight towel loop.
Hang tight towel loop. It's a
Yeah.
mouthful and a bird saver.
All of our towels have that loop on it. And yeah, how it came about was that I thought, if I can't control anything else in my life, which I could not at that stage of my life, I'm going to control this towel. And so that's how it all came about. And then it just grew from there.
So you got started in the recession, and now we're in 2020 and we're in a pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So you've seen quite the wave of ups and downs and success and now lockdowns.
But what's interesting is, Missy, were you saying that business is actually stable, if not picked up a little bit for you with this online direct distribution?
Well, yeah, maybe because, so we learned a lot in that first recession, right? We really learned how to save our money and all that. But it's still a struggle. I mean, and anytime you start a business, it's hard. But we really do focus our business on not just being a wholesale supplier for small independent businesses, but we also sell online at just our website. So, we've always focused on the two because we've always thought that they feed each other. The more time people see us on social and on our website, the more stores that see us also want to carry our products.
So not all your towels are very kid-friendly, right? You're not a very G-rated store a lot of times, right? There's a lot.
We're very irreverent. Yeah.
A lot that pops out at you that on FCC mandated radio stations we can't read off exactly. But give us kind of the personality you try to portray with some of your products.
Well, I'll give you a little background on me. Is now I have 3 boys, 2 of which are teenagers. I've been married 20 years. And my husband's definitely like a math guy. So I'm the one that brings all the personality. No, I'm just kidding. But there's a lot of wine drinking happening. So we make a lot of jokes about wine. One of them, we have cocktail napkins, we have bathroom or bar towels, and then kitchen towels. And we have a saying that says, I'm afraid if I give up wine, I'd have to replace it with murder. Nice. Same with shut up liver, you're fine. We there's a lot of alcohol related, but we also have, I'll tell you, the best seller that we've had since the beginning was my second design I ever put on a product was I like big butts, and it's got a picture of a pig with all the pieces. So that's it. It is still in our top 10.
My wife has prohibited me from saying that slogan when we're out in public because I would break out in a song and dance, and it just was uncomfortable for everyone, including the person I was ogling at the time. Very good to know. So tell us this, because it is interesting. A lot of businesses are facing a lot of challenges. You have come up with a way to help not only your own business, but other mom and pop shops that carry your products. And for our listeners, there are a lot of distributors who Missy Store benefits locally. Tell us about what you're doing with them to help them.
So we started, we know that our biggest distribution is to mom and pop boutiques. We are not in any big box stores. We're not going to. Our products are very irreverent. We're probably never going to be in Target or the Bed Bath & Beyond's or the Walmarts. So we really do love our mom and pop boutiques. So what I did is I put on our website a little banner at the top, and it just says, support your local boutique, even if that boutique does not carry our line currently.
Wow.
If you make a purchase and in the notes say that you want to support this local store in your area, we will actually send a check to that store for the difference of our wholesale and our shipping costs. So we've raised just about $1,200, not very much, $1,200 that are going out to, that's their portion that are going out to the purchases that a store was named. So yeah, we're trying, and then we're also setting up local drop shipping things with certain stores. We've offered that to them. We're just we're not expecting any wholesale orders during this time because the stores are closed. So we're just trying to do what we can to support them so that they stay in business. When they come back, we're going to come back
Well, that's absolutely great. And I think because you're out there supporting small businesses who absolutely need any sort of assistance they can get in a time like this, I want to give a plug to the companies, to the businesses which carry your products. And if you're listening to this locally around where Sean and I are from, the DuPage County area, I can think of at least a couple that I've researched. 221 Creations in Downers Grove. Support them. If you can't support them directly during this time, reach out to Twisted Wares, order something and name them. E&M's Children's Boutique in Glen Ellen. Gather and Collect, also in Glen Ellen. Occasions in Naperville. These are some of the multitude of stores in the Chicagoland area that are carrying your products. What were you able to do to convince them and other realtors across the country to carry your product? When you start off as an entrepreneur like this, what is your pitch? How did you get across the country?
Oh, that's right. When you say realtors, but
Retailers.
Yeah. Retailer. Yeah.
Speaking is not my strong suit, which is why I find myself doing radio.
I'm just so tuned in since I was a realtor for so many years. That's what I did. But how did we get in? So we actually started doing trade shows, like the wholesale trade shows, in 2015. And that's how we started getting, that's how you find the retailers. Now we have a lot more options to find retailers, and a lot of them just find us. And that is because a friend bought them a gift, then they also have a store, so then they want to carry our stuff. So that is how it happens, kind of happens organically now. But we do still do trade shows. Unfortunately, I did have to when this happened, I had 2 people on staff that just worked on our trade shows, and I don't know when that's going to come back with this pandemic. So, I was hit with having to let 2 people go out of that, and that is horrible. It's just the worst thing.
Well, hopefully we're almost through this pandemic. Hopefully another few weeks, hopefully another month, we can kind of get back to normal. But where can they find your stuff? Is it twistedwear.com?
Yeah, it's twistedwares.com. We're also on Facebook, which is Twisted Wares Home, and Instagram, which is just at Twisted Wares. And we're also do a lot on Pinterest. Mm-hmm. So we have a lot of downloadable coloring pages, and just, we want to bring the delight, make you laugh.
But don't always look at these sites with your children. Is that correct? Some of these things may not be appropriate for all ages.
May not be appropriate for all ages, but they will give you a little chuckle. I always think everyone's thinking it. I mean, I'm also a mom of 3 kids, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone's thinking it. You just don't say it. This is where you can just give it.
I don't think too many moms with more than 1 kid would argue with a lot of wine drinking. It's stuff that comes with being a mother for sure. My sister has 6 kids right now, so she's quarantined. Shout out to her with her 5 boys and a newborn baby girl. So I know she's losing her mind for sure.
Oh, shout out.
So no, you know what? It's a great thing you're doing though. It's a positive thing to kind of reach out to all these small businesses. I mean, this is definitely going to come back, but do you see some of these small businesses closing? Do you think that they won't make it through this 2-month period or 6-week period, or is this, if this gets extended until June, do you see kind of a drop off of all these small businesses?
Well, I hate to say it, but I do feel, or at least I am planning on a 20% drop. I hope it doesn't happen, but I mean, as any business owner, you have to plan. And we kind of ran our numbers like, what if 20% of the stores out there close? I hope to God they do not, right? But I think it's inevitable. It's changing how people shop. But, I went to Home Depot today, and that line took us 50 minutes just to get into Home Depot. People still like to get out and shop, and they like to have the experience of shopping. So I do think that stores that will thrive through this will offer an experience, give something unique. Just like Brian's store, he offers something that's completely different. You can't easily find it online. So I think that makes a big difference on the stores that are going to make it.
I absolutely agree with you. I think there's a certain element about going and perusing these places. I often tell my wife, what I miss about Blockbuster, like Netflix is great, but just going there and mindlessly looking for something, and maybe not knowing what you want until you see it there. And we're very lucky where I live in Lisle. There's still, I think it's a Hollywood Video that's still open. So it'll give you the opportunity to go and maybe not have something in mind, but see what it is that, hey, this, like you said, gives me a chuckle, or this might be something interesting. And I think that's something that both Brian and Missy, your store, provides people. It is just that opportunity, or even these stores that you distribute to, just that opportunity to go out there and say, I didn't even think I wanted that or needed that, but I'm getting that, you know? And again, it's just a very important part of what keeps us going, you know, motivates us.
Well, you know, our community is based off of business, small businesses. I mean, everyone always wants to talk about, shop local, buy American. Well, here's everyone's opportunity to support these local businesses, and don't just talk about it, but be about it and try to be about the change in this community that we all desperately need. I mean, we all support, hardworking people that start companies. We want to see them thrive. And I think it's our duty as, again, especially as essential workers who, maybe haven't been hit as hard with all this because we continue to work. Is it risky? Is it dangerous? 100%. But we're still out there fortunate enough to make money. So I think it's important to then give that money back to the local communities and the local businesses, as opposed to giving Amazon, who's worth $900 billion, any more profits. I'd rather give it back to the local businesses.
Absolutely.
What do you think, Reza?
Well, I mean, these are your friends, these are your neighbors, you're the people whose kids go to the same school as your kids. Absolutely, it's important to make sure that you respect and honor the commitment they did to put together their dreams, not only for themselves, but for their community, to see what need was in that community and to help that legacy continue. Because at the end of the day, this is a test, it's a challenge that we're all wading our way through these murky waters. But at the end of the day, there's going to be that light at the end of the tunnel. And are you going to be that guy who hits that light saying that, well, I supported, I did everything I knew that I should when I was going through this circumstance? I think that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, I agree. Mm-hmm. So twistedwares.com.
Yeah, tell us everything. Missy, tell us every which way our listeners can support what you do. Yeah.
Well, I definitely want to say I made a promo code for all of your listeners.
Wow.
I will give
very special for our listeners. How much?
25% off. 25% off.
All right.
They have to use the code Chicago Grind, all capitals, when you check out, and that'll give you a 25% off. And it is good through this Wednesday, the 22nd.
Fantastic. And they can also put then what businesses they support and get a little bit of help to those brick and mortar shops.
Correct. So in the notes section, when you're checking out, go ahead and name the store that you want to support. And we will send them a check at the end of the month when we tally them all together and send those, or we'll be sending direct checks to all of those stores. But yeah, you can find us on Instagram at twistedwares.com, Facebook at twistedwareshome, and then Pinterest at twistedware.
Well, thank you very much for that. I just got my wife just texted me, as she often does when I put my foot in the mouth. It wasn't a Hollywood Video. It is Family Video on Ogden, which is one of those.
Oh, yeah, we have a family video.
I mean, and it's great. In a situation like this, obviously, we can't go and support them. But when I place my order with you at Twisted Wares, I'm going to tell you to send some money to Family Video on Ogden. Because, again, these are the staples in the community that really make communities worth living. It's something very particular and unique to that community which you are part of that you want to see continue to be part of that landscape.
Well, we want everyone to stay tuned. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We're listening to Missy with twistedwares.com, 25% off until this Thursday. Say Chicago Grind. You can find her on Facebook, Instagram. We also heard from Brian Shamhart, Studio 8 in Forest Park. You can go to Studio 8 on Facebook and Instagram, but we'll be right back after this commercial break. Sean and Raza.
Life, Love, and the Grind is proudly sponsored by Rich Lewandowski and our friends at Breaker Press, Chicagoland's top choice for union printing. We're a third-generation family-owned business that has been helping unions and political campaigns win since 1976. We've been involved in hundreds of winning elections, and we get our printed materials to you on time and on budget every time. Whether you're running for the courthouse or the White House, we will take you from concept to design and from print to mail or your supporters' front yards. Breaker Press, can help you reach the voters you need. Call Rich at 773-852-5733 or email rich at breakerpress.com. For all of your political printing needs, visit us at breakerpress.com.
Megan Financial is an independent retirement and financial services firm dedicated to the working men and women of organized labor. Megan provides straightforward, custom-fit financial advice and specializes in defined benefit and defined contribution pension plans, as well as participant and retiree health and welfare benefits. Megan Financial has the knowledge and experience to navigate the union member through all phases of life. Call 708-444-1090.
Securities and advisory services offered through Cetera Advisors LLC, member FINRA, SIPC, a broker-dealer and registered investment advisor. Cetera is under separate ownership from any other named entity. Office location at 5321 South 94th Avenue, Orland Park, Illinois, 60462.
This is Louis Geyer from GWC Engineering Lawyers. Now that cannabis is legal in Illinois, an understanding of the law and the risks associated with ingesting cannabis is critically important. Under the Cannabis Act, you can legally ingest marijuana only in a very limited number of places. Not in public, not on government or school premises, and not even in your own condo or apartment if your landlord has a no smoking policy. A positive test is potentially lethal to your rights in 3 key areas: employment, work injuries, and driving. So if your employer has a zero tolerance drug and alcohol policy, you can be terminated if you fail a drug test, even though your cannabis consumption was legal. If you're hurt on the job and test positive for cannabis, the legal presumption is that your accident was caused in part because of the cannabis, and your workers' compensation rights can be totally denied. DUI laws have not changed. Impaired means impaired, and a DUI due to cannabis or alcohol can ruin your career. If you want to indulge in legal THC before you ingest, read up on your rights at gwclaw.com.
If you're just joining us, you're joining us back on Life, Love, and the Grind with Raza Siddiqui and Sean Allen. The topic today is small businesses, big hope. We're all facing challenges with what's going on this pandemic, and we wanted to talk to a couple of business owners about what they're dealing with, about what their situation is. It's always hard to start a risky endeavor, especially with this uncertainty. I also wanted to give a shout out to someone else who's taken it upon themselves in a situation like this to spread a message. And that is my good friend, Teal Hardiman, who's started a radio show as well. So if you're starting your Sunday mornings very early, sometimes earlier than I'd like, but I happen to support my friend Teal Hardiman at WVON. He talks about some of the violence that's still a problem which plagues our communities, despite, if you can believe it, the pandemic that we're facing. So Tio talks with people, offering solutions about, or at least offering the discussions about how we should proceed. So I encourage you to support him as well. But of course, we're all about supporting small businesses, right?
Well,
Sean?
we've had the pleasure of having Tio Hardiman on our show a few months back, and he's doing great things for the community. And small businesses is doing even better things for the community. And we've got to hear from Brian Shamhart with Studio 8 and Missy with Twisted Wares. So, Brian, Missy, how do we all work together, and how, as a community, do we move forward to help build these small businesses when we come out of this pandemic? Why don't we start with you, Brian?
Well, I think it's just going to be a matter of, truly kind of supporting local. I think as you said, it's almost like it's a trickle down, that it's affected everybody. Unfortunately, it's affected most everybody adversely at this point, all the way from when you don't have a Cubs game, you don't have beer vendors, you don't have ticket takers, and therefore those people don't possibly have money to go and support others as well. And I think, the solution is going to be to continue to, if you are one of those fortunate essential workers or able-bodied person that's financially well off, to continue to support local. So it might be a little more difficult to do it in this environment, but you still can, as far as your restaurants with takeout, certain businesses such as ours that rely a lot more upon online venues versus in store. So I think it's just a continual support that, again, it might not be as convenient as it was, but it will get back to that. And in the meantime, just continue to support local businesses.
And if you're just tuning in, that's Brian Shamhart with Studio 8. You can find him on Studio 8 on Facebook, Studio_8_vintage on Instagram. Missy, so what do you think? Coming out of this pandemic, hopefully in the next few weeks, maybe a month at the latest, God willing, do you see a big boom and everyone kind of running back to these stores and hopefully getting back into the reality and normalcy of life?
And I know I want to leave and do something. But yeah, I think when it comes back, it's going to come back strong. I think it's going to take some time, but I think that, when the stores open, they're going to need product and people are going to be so gung-ho into supporting them that they're going to run, they're going to need product. Be very busy, busier than expected, I think.
Well, I know my barber is going to be because I've been sending more love notes to him than I have been to my wife these days, telling him I need that trim.
I thought Sarah was cutting your hair.
She tried. That almost didn't end well for anybody. But I'll tell you this: at the end of the day, you never realize what small businesses you need until you again really need them. I'm looking for a black market barber. I'll tell my wife's like, stop Googling that stuff. But I'm telling you, there's a lot, like you said, when this economy opens up again. What are you going to miss, Sean?
Well, I have not had one drink in 5 weeks today, so I'm definitely going to a bar for sure. I need my Tito's fix. If anyone knows me well, I love my Tito's, and I've yet to have one drink since this all started.
You've replaced it by running 4 miles a day and eating healthy. We can't have this.
It's disgusting. I've replaced it with a healthy lifestyle, and it's really weighing on me. I need some vodka for sure. But you know what? We all
I
take
feel like I drink more than ever.
Well, that's what everyone's telling me too. But I'm like, funny, I stopped. I'm like, I figured I'd be a good little recharge for my liver and my lifestyle. But just all these things that we take for granted day to day, just restaurants, bars, just going out, seeing family, just everyone getting together. I mean, it's very mentally taxing to be completely shut off from everything. So
absolutely,
I'm ready to come back.
Even the impulse shopping that we're so used to, but again, we've given a few good alternatives for if anyone has that urge to at least cruise, but then spend some of that stimulus money. Let's put it back into the economy. There's been that's what it's there for.
Yeah.
That's what we were given this,
Well, we're all given $1,200 stimulus checks. Hopefully everyone gets a stimulus check. If you're on unemployment, you're getting an extra $600. We want everyone to save their money. We want everyone to be financially secure and smart, but
we want them to inject it back into their
community. Put it right back in the economy, and a booming economy is a booming community and vice versa. So I think it's important to keep these small businesses afloat, keep them growing. And I know myself and Raza as essential workers, and we're still out there trying to put money into restaurants and local establishments, because that's our duty as people of our community.
Absolutely. Support your neighbors 100%. Brian, anything you'd like to add? Final words, final thoughts?
No, I appreciate you having us on and spreading the word.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Missy, how about you? I know you got something. What you got for us?
No, I really, really appreciate it. I think that, when you asked, what are we doing? It's different as a kind of, since we're a supplier, and we do both, but a huge part of our business is being a supplier. We started giving away, we started making our funny sayings on coloring pages that we share on social, and it has been a hit. And I said to my team the other day, I think we should just keep doing this because it helps our store owners have more things to share with their customers, right? So that giving things away, I don't know, just being really generous with stuff has been, I don't know, I get up in the morning and I'm like, what funny coloring page can I make today that the stores we are in can share with their groups too,
Well, it's funny you say that, the different ways that you can express yourself and find a way to make an identity for your company. I actually talked to an owner, I think it's Deer Park Inn, who is using their Instagram because they obviously can't have guests there right now. They're a boutique hotel. They're actually doing telenovas. They're actually doing little, what would you call it? Like soap operas, Hispanic soap operas on their Instagram.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and again, they're saying the following, it was nothing like they ever expected, because at the end of the day, you got this captive audience. People are looking for things to do. You got 3 kids in the other room. You want to do something besides just drink your liquor in this room. You want to watch something, whether it's or color something, these coloring books, You're just looking for ideas.
We are hosting a Twisted Wares, and my friend who owns gumballpoodle.com, which is a sock company, we're doing a live Facebook Live, Instagram Live. It'll be on all of them. Drag Queen Bingo on Wednesday, the 29th. But it's funny, like we're all coming up, getting creative with how can we get in front of people and just have a good time, but stay in front of their mind as well. So when it is time to come back,
Well, absolutely. Yeah. And Sean Allen and I, with the same thought process, have come up with a way, if you're local, we actually have a dating show that we've started, the Love Lockdown. Since we're all in this quarantine, we can't date online anymore. We're having a semi-weekly whenever we can get some contestants who want to show up and put themselves out there to come on, 3 women or 3 men to talk to each other and see what it is that they miss about dating and what they can do virtually. Yeah. Sean, we've created a virtual matchmaking service. Well, did you think when we became friends 3 years ago, I'd be sitting here and saying we've created a virtual matchmaking service?
I did not. It's
I love that.
Crazy road for sure.
Yeah.
So
it's that or the telenovela.
So we've heard from Brian Shamrock,
Shamart.
I'm sorry. You can find him on Instagram, studio_8_vintage, or on Facebook, Studio 8. And Missy with Twisted Wares, you can go to twistedwares.com. Missy, why don't you tell us that deal you're going to give till this Thursday one more time?
The 25% off your entire purchase on our website. You can still use, put in the notes what store you want to help out during this time. And the code is Chicago Grind.
Fantastic. And you can always, throughout this process and hopefully far afterwards, tune into us on Life, Love, and the Grind on 8:20 a.m. and also on our other platforms, Life, Love, and the Grind at Instagram, Facebook, now on podcasts and all these other.
You know what I want to mention too, if you want to, be a guest on the show, if you want to be a guest on the Love Lockdown with our new dating show, you can email us at lifeloveandthegrind@gmail.com, and you can also reach out to us on any one of our platforms. We're always looking for good guests. We've had a lot of incredible ones so far. I think we've done. Well, I don't even know how many videos we've done. It's been a lot. So we appreciate everyone who comes on and tells their story.
Absolutely. I mean, this is the time to tell your stories and share your experiences, because what makes this community is all these fabrics that go into the tapestry of that community. So tell your story, share it, and let's get through this together and entertain ourselves. Yeah. And that's it.
As always, Sean Araza, Life, Love, and the Grind. Thank you to our guests.
Thank you very much, guys.